bonus round. This is it. We have to draw the Mexican GP circuit in 15 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 38.4.
Okay, we need a lot of paint here. We need a lot of paint.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Okay.
I think I got
we've already had 10. What?
Out of this.
Oh, okay, this is. I have to go. Okay.
See? I think it's right. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Checks complete. We're ready.
That definitely.
Hey. I was about to say I wanted to more like
I might have missed one.
I feel like I've missed about 10 corners actually. So,
one looks more like maybe.
wait, where's your start? You start at that start? Yeah. Okay, so I've done 10 on this one. I don't think I'm that far if we switched around. You clearly.
Yeah, I might.
You got stop the section there, so maybe they'll change it for this next year. Who knows?
I'm sure.
I'll give you the point. Next challenge, Billy. Well, shall there's something we're going to take relax. Anything for this match is this. At the end, we will show each other what we've done. And I'll have to try and guess what yours is, and you'll have to guess what mine is. And
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
This is not going to go very well. Have you got something in mind? I guess you have to. You mentioned it. Yeah, it could be an accident. And once this will happen, we'll get questions as well. Is Irish sport something you enjoy?
No, not painting. Not painting. I got you working by hand. That was good. So you're much stronger.
Yeah. Okay.
You sure you used to put up the fuel card? I had it. I didn't have a hard time about it.
This is your favourite moment, surely. It must be up there. After the
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Sure.
I was really sure you were going to say that. That's the one. Selected this for me. Favourite karaoke song? It's probably the Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. So, good song.
What? What did you say?
Ain't No Sunshine, Bill Withers.
I don't have Jimmy's song.
just the whole selection.
I'm bad in the middle. I think we have many, obviously. It's quite a few years we worked together, so there were a lot of things I learned from about you from them, and then a lot of my phrases that we done together. So
Meanwhile, I'm just
painting.
it's not painting. That's what it.
We're 16th for the speed trap, 187.4 miles per hour. Everyone ready?
It's a great story. Let's go. That's what I need to go after this challenge. Okay, so if we turn it around. Oh no! That actually won't make me better. I feel like I'm going to be able to guess yours, and you're not going to be able to guess mine. So I'm going to guess that your favourite place is home. Yeah. Yep, that's easy. And any guesses as to what on earth I think your favourite there?
Yeah, it could be a bed.
It could be.
Yeah.
It's not. It could. So
It could be a goal. Could I don't know.
it could be many things. I think that's what we're saying. So essentially, I'm going to say that's like a house. I don't know why they're standing on. Yeah, that's standing on the side. So that's over. That looks like it's really good. Yeah, it's not. It's a remote controller and a TV and watching Formula 1, and then that's the finished version. Yeah. Okay, this next challenge, Jimmy, as you may well have guessed, if you need to respond, we're doing it on time. I
end or?
Yeah, so we're going to do this whole challenge, and then whilst we're going to do the challenge, we're going to mock us. Because we love questions and mock us. It's what we do for a living. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, you know. Really cool. You scored well. Do you want to start? Oh, really?
I'm not listening to you.
You listen to the ring. You listen to it.
You have to learn.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Are you learning from me?
Some people may think our most essential ingredient is free-range eggs in our breakfast. Others may say it's the rarest piece of shit we've ever covered. Is the 100% British roast beef in our burgers? Well, actually, our most essential ingredient is elixir. And over 23,000 other British farmers depend on it.
Discover more about what matters to you with Google. Like new recipes, fitness facts, ER, choose, DIY projects to try, and tools to explore in level. Visit Custom to Scratch. Download the Google today.
100%.
You've fallen down the order. You're now in P7.
You know? I'm sure I like that also.
Yeah.
So maybe my long term I like short term I like they ask every year the same from me, but I remember
So you're not going to help me with this one, no?
if I remember.
Thank you. 14.
Two 2007. 2007. That one is so much better. That's a 4 wheels.
You can tell I have not played with Lego for a very long time. Final challenge, creating a perfect food mix. We have set examples which we have to memorise, so take a good look at that orange, and we now need to make that with our red and orange. Okay? You got it? Yeah? You're gonna pick? Are you ready? Okay. Okay, you want to start. Okay, perfect.
Let's see how much.
I think I put in the bread in.
I was going to say hello.
Actually, I've got that bag on. You spilled some.
The problem is the shade.
Oh no, mine's not as well.
This one's much different.
I think
So
that's
that now,
maybe.
I think the middle one is wrong.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, easy.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Billy. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for sharing. Thank you.
lies much deeper than the official start of the championships we know and love today. In order to get a sense for what Formula One is at its root, it makes the most sense to break down the name. But in order to do that, we have to go back in time. Single-seater racing had been taking place throughout the 1900s, and as technology was advancing, so were the risks. Elite racing series and events began to spring up as automobiles got quicker and drivers wanted to go faster. One of the original elite racing series was the European Drivers' Championship, which held its first season in 1931. The governing body that supervised some of the most popular racing events began to impose strict regulations on competitive events like size of the car, engine power, and even the weight of the cars to ensure safe race conditions. But this was also a way to mitigate any unfair advantages that were being leveraged by those who could innovate significantly faster than the field. For instance, that first European Drivers' Championship imposed many regulations, like a minimum car weight of 900 kilograms. These early regulations were in line with what was called Formula Libre regulations, and is widely considered the oldest sanctioned formula recognized in motorsports. And that's where the name Formula comes from. Therein lies the root of the name of the entire series. But just as things were picking up, global motorsports was interrupted by an armed conflict. The Second World War later, and Europe was ready to race again. But to distinguish the top-level Formula cars from the rest of the racing events, Formula One regulations were formed in 1946 by the official governing body, the FIA, and the races began in that same year. That's not the only set of regulations that were codified. Formula 2 regulations were formed by the FIA in 1948 and was limited to 2-liter 750cc supercharged engines. Just a couple of years after that, an even smaller engine was officially designated for Formula 3 by the FAA, with 500cc engines powering this formula. Because of the advanced engineering required to compete in the top formula, teams struggled to field a car in the premier category, and Formula 2 rules were even used for a couple of seasons in the early days of the championship. This dynamic exists still today, but has morphed into the series under Formula One, acting as a feeder series where younger drivers can prove that they can be successful in Formula One. But by the mid-1950s, the championship was more steady, and teams began to consistently compete in Formula One. Throughout the 1950s, there was only one championship that recognized the driver who placed the highest. For each Grand Prix finished, they were given an allotment of points that would conclude with the crowning of the driver with the most points as Formula One champion. Now that teams could build race cars that could make it through the season, they could field more than one car. It would take until the end of the 1950s, but the FIA designated a second championship that was technically separated from the Drivers' Championship. It was designed to reward the team with the most points as the winning team, or the winning constructors. Thus, the Constructors' Championship was born, and the inaugural champion was Van Wall, crowned in 1958. So now that we've talked about the history of Formula One and how it began, let's fast forward to modern-day Formula One. F1 is big business. The FAA is much larger than just simply the Formula One World Championships. That has always been true and remains true today. For instance, here's a list of other sanctioned World Championship events under the FIA umbrella. And while the FIA is the governing body, F1 is owned by the Formula One Group. Just recently, in 2016, Liberty Media bought the controlling interest for billions of dollars. So if you hear the name Liberty, they are the American company that actually owns the underlying rights. You can even go and buy yourself a piece of it at the NASDAQ under the ticker FWONK. Like I said, big business. Alongside Formula One in the group's business portfolio are the Atlanta Braves baseball team and SiriusXM. Oftentimes, major changes to the sport are reflected.
Spotify, you fucking.
And that was the last time he was ever spotted, so 1976.
Before the ice storm.
So there's a 100 years between them, 100 years, and then like 3 years.
Yeah, 60s and 70s because the ice storm came. But yeah, they have a march every year. Every year over the spring equinox, and it's become a celebration of the strange. It's kind of like a Michigan Mardi Gras.
I can't wait for the festival year that they do have it and he rocks up. Everyone's like, fuck!
I really, out of all of the ones that you've ever told us, I want to go. I want to go and see what the devil looks like.
It'd be good to go to the festival, I think.
Yeah, of course I do.
It just says it's a parade to push it. Oh, so it says the parade is to push the little red dwarf out and bring back good fortune to the city.
Fuck is that guy doing, Joe
It
guy?
started a decade ago, and you just have to. Detroit's on the rocks.
Oh,
still.
Detroit is very much on the rocks.
Yeah.
They are struggling.
Because of this little name Rouge bastard.
They do decorated floats, brass bands, outlandish costumes. A lot of people actually dress up like the name Rouge.
So
Brass bands, he hates jazz.
how are they scaring it by dressing up as it? If anything, that's like a sign of endearment, surely. Like, look at me, I'm like you. I don't know. It's just people are a bit weird, aren't they? A lot of people just think it's bizarre, but it's a good time, so it's quite cool.
Yeah, it's now being overrun by people who want to get this.
Yeah. Hence us going, oh, I'd quite like to know this. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's anything relevant with that. But yeah, someone said they were a little bit worried about it because it's kind of pro-Name Rouge. And then there was a troop commander, John E.L. Tenney, was telling past stories of getting spit on and almost punched by people at the festival. And that's about it. There's nothing. It just looks like they just use it as an excuse to have a piss up.
Yeah.
Do you have any images of this little fella? I can quickly grab one if you'd like. I would love to see some.
Has there been like a police fit sketch?
Yeah, I would love to see that more than you know. I'm imagining like a tiny little fat devil.
Yeah.
Like a red Tasmanian devil.
I'm thinking, remember the John Lewis advert last year, the little dragon?
Yeah.
Imagine that for just red.
That's a great shout, actually.
He's a little overweight now,
Yeah.
but he's proper bad days of grinding.
Strangely, when searching Name Rouge, it just shows the festival over and over. It's just a piss up.
An actual Name Rouge, that'll come up.
Oh, what are you showing me now? Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's go.
Actual human,
She
that.
is red.
It just looks like a devil, doesn't it? Like, surely just saying that makes you just think it's. Oh, there you go. There's a bit of a weirder one. So
Let's
these are
go.
all impressions, not the real thing, obviously. No one's. Oh, I quite like him.
I reckon get him on the pod.
Name Rouge, known to appear before terrible events in the city. The Name Rouge is Detroit's harbinger of doom. Oh, and then people Harbinger, sorry. And then people wear masks of him and that. Yeah, mad. Yeah, I mean, it's a Donald Trump one.
It's quite nice Donald Trump.
Look, at the bottom, there's a Donald Trump one. Yeah, that's one we've got up there. Yeah, oh god, that is weird.
Right, 2017.
Jesus Christ. So, fair enough, Stevie. So this is an actual thing. They've been doing this festival for over a decade. I like it. I'll buy in. I like Halloween. That's based on shit. I'll go to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite spooky, but it's more boozy.
Yeah. And that's why I'm buying in,
Yeah.
really, to be honest. I find this one very similar to the whole taking a rock home thing. It is just like something bad's happened and someone's gone, oh, I did see that raid fucker a couple of days ago.
No, exactly, yeah. It would be interesting to know when they announced they found him after the whole place burned down.
Yeah.
And after the ice storm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I did think I saw him.
If there's not a lot of sightings, because if everyone's just saying it, it's just, oh, fuck off.
I mean, you walk down the street, you said at one
Yeah, it's, how's one person like only seeing him? If one person sees him, complains, and then their entire family die in a house fire, I might go, fair enough, maybe it was a little Rouge. But until then, it's the same story, just in this story, Rouge is the petrified wood. Yeah, exactly. But you don't take him home, and you don't celebrate the wood in the street festivals. No. Do they have any street food there?
I'm sure they'll have food. I'm sure there will be catering.
How have we got to that? I just wondered what food would you serve there? Devil on horseback?
Deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs. You don't know what devil on horseback is, do you?
No. Do I?
Do you not?
No. Is it like sausage on a bun?
You know,
Hot dog.
you know pigs and blankets?
Yeah.
You can have devils
What
on
a fucking
horseback,
joke.
which I believe are
What a
chorizo,
fucking joke.
right, on something.
What the fuck?
I think it's like maybe a little cocktail sausage with
Whatever.
Okay.
Fucking
Well,
game's a
we're
joke.
going to find out very, very, very soon what it is, because Fiona is politely Googling it for us. Devils on horseback. There we go. A hot appetizer. What is it? Can someone read quicker than me?
It's a crew with mango chutney.
So
bacon.
So not what I was saying at all. But there we go. That's what they serve there. Okay? I'm deciding. Shall we move on to the next urban legend? Can I do scarability? What, of that one? Yeah, if you'd like to. One.
See, it sounds more of a good time.
Yeah, I want to go. Can we all go?
Yeah, I'll do an unconventional episode on it.
Yeah.
Try and find him. Won't find him after about 6 minutes. What for the next 3? Ad rev. Sweet. I know.
Cool, let's go to Detroit. It's like Cinco de Mayo. That's something. That's something.
Day of the Dead.
That's Mexico. Okay, move on. next urban legend, and this one is a little bit more of a true crime story, so you can't take the piss out of it too much because it actually happened.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
So it's a very, very well-known one. You've probably heard of it. It's New York, so Staten Island, Cropsey.
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 Have you not heard of Cropsey?
So I'll go through the first little paragraph, which is a kind of little backstory of what Cropsey is to kids, and then I'll go through the other story because there isn't much more to it.
There's a Netflix documentary about this.
Yeah, from 2009.
My friend Tom Norris, who was on the last Urban Legends, he told me about Cropsey once when we was on a long, dark car journey, and I'll be honest, it did spook me a little bit.
I won't go into too many of the dark details, but I'll just tell you the generic story of the whole thing.
Yeah. See, before we get to that, have you ever heard of Slender Man?
I've heard of it. He's got big fingers.
Yeah. When I first heard about Slender Man as a child, it scared me, and Cropsey did the same thing.
Right, okay.
So I put them both together. They're working in cahoots, them two.
Okay. Speak fast. Here we go.
So, Staten Island, Cropsey.
Staten Island, New York.
Oh, fuck off. Get off my Spotify.
New York.
Growing up on Staten Island, children had often heard of the legend of Cropsey. For the kids in their neighbourhood, Cropsey was the escaped mental patient who lived in the old abandoned Willowbrook mental institution, who would come out late at night and snatch children off the streets. According to law, an insane man with a hook for a hand terrorised neighbourhood boys and girls, dragging them into the crumbling ruins of Staten Island's abandoned Seaview Hospital. Cropsey is the creature that lurks at the end of your block. It's a shadowy figure that prowls the edge of the playground. Cropsey is Staten Island's personal boogeyman, and he was always out there waiting to get the children. Parents used to tell this tale to spook their little ones at night to go to bed, or Cropsey will get you.
That's pretty grim, isn't it?
That is Parenting 107.
We
Like,
had,
don't do that.
we had a man made of bogies. Do you know what I mean? They're like, it's like a boogeyman.
They got that.
They've got like a little child murderer that lurks in the shadows.
Really, I was laughing at the beginning of telling stories because Cropsey in the UK is the name of your mate who turns up late at the pub. It's like, Cropsey!
Really?
It's just like the name of a mate of yours. It's not a particularly scary name. It sounds like a nickname of someone you would know.
I've never heard of that.
It's quite strange because everything I was reading.
Are you saying it?
There's not a thing, but like it sounds like a mate of yours.
Oh, yeah, I thought you was going to say that.
No, it sounds like a mate of yours, and you can imagine it shouting at the other end of the pub.
Fucking Constantina. Jesus.
There wasn't much on the internet of the story of Cropsey itself.
What's like origin story?
It's all over Netflix.
There's a massive origin story, but what I've told you, there isn't like a classic like Bloody Mary. You could tell the story of her going to prom and then being killed and blah blah blah. But there's nothing. That's it. And then this is why there is a real thing called Cropsey.
So has Cropsey done some stuff?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So strangely, I don't think there was a reason why they call it Cropsey either. I think it was just a name that came out like Candyman.
No, I think they did have a name.
I couldn't find one.
That's because his official name was Liam Crop.
It wasn't. I can tell you his official name now. So
Every time you go on to tell the origin story and the word Cropsey comes up, can you say it like how Max is saying?
no, because this is about actual people.
Ah, okay.
So Cropsey turned frighteningly real in the 1970s when a local drifter named Andre Rand allegedly began
Randy! Sorry, did he die?
He's still in prison. Allegedly began attacking the children of Staten Island. Rand was born Frank Russian.
What is this fucking guy doing?
School, an institution for mentally disabled children.
Fuck you, bruv.
So there's two places I mentioned in the story at the beginning.
A lot of mental institutions very close together.
Yeah. Bad idea.
Well, one of them was ruined, so it was broken into ground, and they reopened a new one.
It's almost like the topping ground, isn't it?
Willowbrook was open for 40 years. Willowbrook was open for 40 years, and it repeatedly came under fire for the mistreatment of its students. The first child to go missing in the string of disappearances was a 5-year-old called Alice Pereira, who vanished in 1972 after her brother left her alone when they were playing in the lobby of a building on the island. Reports also suggest that Alice may have been sighted in one of the parks. Rand was the prime suspect in this case due to his previous criminal record. Alice was never seen again. The second was 7-year-old Holly Ann Hughes, who, according to witnesses, was spotted with Rand on the day of her disappearance in 1981. Third was 11-year-old Tia Jackson, who disappeared shortly after Rand was released from prison in 1983.
Okay, so quickly, there have been 3 disappearances, all Rand related, and he's still out and about.
So he did go to prison, but I'll explain what for in a second, because it's separate technically. The fourth was Hank DeForio, a 22-year-old, but with a really low IQ. He was last seen with Rand at a diner in 1984.
There's no kid called Hank. You know what I mean?
The bodies of those people were never recovered.
All those 4.
Yeah. The final child, Jennifer Schweiger, in the summer of 1987, was a 12-year-old with Down syndrome. Jennifer told her parents that she was going for a walk, but she never returned. A massive search party commenced. Neighbours combed the empty lots and the wooded parks of Staten Island. By this time, Rand was homeless and living in a series of makeshift campsites. One of his outposts was built in the woods behind his old stomping grounds, Willowbrook State School. While searching for Jennifer near the shuttered school, a firefighter uncovered a small foot in the earth, which ultimately gave way to Jennifer's body, buried in a shallow grave. And Rand's camp was discovered shortly after that. He was quickly arrested and charged with that murder. In the court, the case was open and shut. Rand was an ex-con with a record of crimes against children. So in 1969, he was arrested in South Bronx after attempting to rape a young girl. In 1983, when he worked for Staten Island School Bus Company, he kidnapped 11 children. He bought them lunch and then drove them to New Jersey's airport for no reason. None of the children were harmed, but he was apprehended and served 10 months in jail for unlawful imprisonment.
Well, he was trying to take them on a plane.
No, he just took him to the airport and then
dropped them off the airport.
and just didn't say a reason.
What?
Yeah, no reason at all. But there was actually no concrete evidence that could link Rand to the murder of Jennifer, the body that they actually found.
Right.
In 1988, he was ultimately convicted of kidnapping in the first degree and sentenced to 25 years in prison. The jury...
Even though he'd been floating around since the late 60s?
Yeah, the jury was unable to reach a verdict on the murder charge, so it fell through.
Right.
And what else? So he got done for 10 months for, like, nicking, like, 11 kids.
Fucking idiot.
And he still keeps getting jobs at schools when he gets out.
Up to speed now. Let's get
Yeah, it seems quite strange, actually.
Yeah.
In 2004, which was just before he was going to be eligible for parole again from prison, he was put to trial once more for a 23-year-old case, which was Holly Ann Hughes, that I mentioned earlier.
The one that they've never found the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prosecutors presented new evidence in the proceedings, and a jury convicted Rand of kidnapping the little girl in 1981. She didn't return home after going to the store to get a bar of soap with a friend. Rand pulled up to Holly and her friend and pulled Holly into his car and drove off with Holly. Her parents filed a missing persons report and a search was issued. When questioned, several eyewitnesses reported seeing Hughes with Rand. She was last seen with him and never seen again. So because of the new evidence, in 2004, he was sentenced to another 25 years.
Right, so
On
2030.
on top of the rest of his sentence, which I think he had about 8 years left, but he was eligible for parole, which obviously got ruined. So I think in the real world, he's still in prison,
Yeah.
still alive.
How old is he to be old?
I think he was born in 1944. Well, I believe I read. Yeah, and he is not going to be allowed out of prison until 2037. So he'll be in his 90s, so the likelihood is that he'll be dead.
Right.
But as I said, yeah, it's a real case.
So he's a child murderer.
Let's use
Yeah, and the other ones, Therese Jackson, Alice Pereira, and Hank DeForio are all still to this day unsolved. But he's the prime suspect in all of them. But because the bodies are still missing, they're just they're described as young children.
I'm seeing 2 different sides here, Stephen.
Yeah.
We've got Rando,
Yeah.
bad bloke,
Yeah.
not a good guy, should rot in prison.
Yeah.
And then we've got our mates,
Cropsey. Well, based on that, it does say that the kids that have never been found, the bodies, and there's no one to convict because of it. Then it says that they remain lost youths who fell victim to the Cropsey legend.
So are they trying to insinuate that Rando was Cropsey?
Yes, so the story of Cropsey, the one who's stealing these kids, there was an actual man who was going around kidnapping kids.
And the mum said to the kids, instead of going, there's a man that's going to get you, there's a monster man that's going to get you.
Essentially, I believe.
When did Cropsey first come into parlance?
That's something that seems a bit strange as well. I think it was, I just don't think it was very widely spoken about, because he didn't go down for murdering any of these kids. It was just like, oh, a guy's been put in prison for kidnapping a kid. Like, it wasn't like a scary at the time, thinking about what he was doing. It was just like, oh, just a random kidnapping, which probably happens quite often. So it was like Cropsey, when kids went there, it's just something they came up with. So it was around the same time.
The reason I ask is because, like, whether it's like it's a rolling position that people take. Obviously, Rand took it from like the late 60s.
Oh, you're saying like
80s.
What, in the 40s, someone else might have
when
been
40 someone else.
Yeah.
A bit like, your turn now, mate.
Yeah.
Pass on the baton.
Exactly.
Just to really, just to keep the urban legend going, I guess.
Yeah, but since then, documentary's been made about it. He is a real person. You can find photos of him.
What does
Andre Rand?
What is Cropsey supposedly reported to look like?
The actual Cropsey, there's a few stories of him having a hook for a hand, which is quite unusual.
I know Croppo.
Do you know what? Croppo's always had a W right now.
Fiona, bring up the computer and put Cropsey into Google Images.
Are they scary?
No, not really. It's just sometimes he has a massive knife, sometimes he has a hook for a hand. So this is the actual man. You can see Andre Rand.
That's Andre.
Yes.
Right, so he is a bastard. He looks like quite a heavy-duty lad as well. Like, he looks like he's got a strong... Who's that?
Jaws.
Oh. Is that Andre?
It might also, yeah.
Well, that's...
Yeah, that's just when he... Look, you can still see it.
Oh.
Googling through anything with Cropsey actually comes up with all the real stuff. Normally, if you like search Bloody Mary, it's going to show you this terrifying woman, creature thing.
If you want to listen to this on the podcast, do search Cropsey. You've got all pictures of him at the park, playing that thing for tea.
Oh, we're talking about real death.
No, we're talking about Randy's a knob.
Yeah.
Big old swat, Randy.
Yeah.
Cropsey. Hey! Proper lad.
So yeah, that's the story of Cropsey. Pretty dark. Yeah, true story though. So
it's just someone calling a murderer by a fictional name, isn't it?
yeah, it's quite strange that it's become like an urban legend, because it's to anyone else that'd just be the story of Ted Bundy or
it's like
Jeffrey
calling
Dahmer.
Ian Huntley like Bilbo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you've given a fake name to a very... Maybe that's a way to make it a bit lighter though.
Doesn't.
No?
No, still very, very bad. That's.
I kind of agree, because like if you are one of these awful characters giving you saying this to your child, you're not going to say otherwise Andre's going to come and get you, because that's really sinister.
Right.
You might as well give it some fluffy name,
right,
to try and make it a little bit better, other than Andre will come and he will bury you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But Cropsey, but maybe that's because I already know the negative connotations to it. But Cropsey sounds like quite a
Because every time I hear it, it makes me think of crops in a field, and then that makes me think they could have some massive shears or some kind of cutting down harvest.
I'd like to see some kind of artist impressions of what Cropsey could potentially look like.
Look at the scarecrow on a field and comes to life and starts killing people.
Because there was an artist called Jasper Francis Cropsey who did some beautiful artwork.
Oh, wow.
For sure, good.
Very good. Look at that. We don't need to look at that. I care more about the little devil guy of Staten Island. He's not a devil, do you know what I mean?
No, Detroit.
Yeah, just carry on.
Okay, so you don't need to do scareability on that one. You true story.
Very scary.
That is scary. Andre, scary bloke. Cropsey!
Yeah.
Moving on. Our fourth urban legend of the day is Kentucky. And there you have the Kentucky Goblins.
That is the American, that's the local team.
So, the Kentucky Goblins, on the evening of August 21st, August 21st, 1955, 5 adults and 7 children visited Hopkinsville, Kentucky police station with a strange story. The group reported that they'd witnessed a flying saucer land near the farmhouse where they were staying that night. Little men surrounded the house, peering at the frightened families as they attempted to gain entry.
Did they leave any Cropsey circles at all? Sorry, let's carry on.
That's good, I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Elmer Sutton and Billy Ray Taylor claim to have fought off the men with a shotgun and a pistol for nearly...
Yeah, don't claim you fought them off when you got a shotgun blasted them.
But this is actually what they told the police as well. With a shotgun and a pistol for nearly 4 hours before they left and told the police. They reported that they'd been shooting at 12 to 15 short, dark figures that were monkey-like with long arms and webbed hands with talons, large, bright offset eyes and pointed ears. Concerned about a possible gun battle between local citizens, 4 of the city police, 5 state troopers and 3 deputy sheriffs and 4 military police all the area, but no flying saucer. Media quickly spread that of the strange news of the goblins or little men, and reporting about this incident helped to popularise the term little green men as a generic term for aliens, although the colour green was not mentioned in the group's original interviews.
It wasn't one the goblins should have that. Sorry.
Not everyone believed that the attackers were spacemen. Alternative explanations from the time suggested test flight monkeys used in rocket experiments crashed in the area.
I'm out.
And in a notable tongue-in-cheek explanation found in the Senate Republican memo, the Democrats said that they turned green with envy at the popularity of the President Eisenhower.
So I saw them come down in their spaceship, right? And the little green monkey things, right? And shotguns. I had to get it from the guy. I had to load the ammunition. Missed every single one.
4 hours of shooting. 4 hours of shooting. How much ammo do you have?
That's madness.
Local and national... Oh, no, actually... Sorry.
Also, the fact that they said they fought them off, I just imagine they like, so we hit them with the back of the gun. She was like, why didn't you shoot? Oh, I should have done that.
The incident is now commonly explained as either an elaborate hoax or perhaps more charitably that the group was shocked by the meteor shower and were in a state of panic and also likely intoxicated. And they confused these aliens with... Well, what they thought were aliens were actually great horned owls, which are very common in that area.
Yeah, but if you're shooting at them for 4 hours, I think there's going to be probably around the 2 hour mark where you go, actually, these might be owls. Do you know what I mean?
Also, there will be some feathers. What are the ages of the people that came to the police?
They were adults. They had 7 children, 5 adults.
Oh, but this is Kentucky.
Who all said they were fighting them all?
All 12 people. 2 people went to the police, but all 12 basically said that.
Oh, and the 12 were together, or they were separate?
Together. 5 adults and 7 children.
And how many gremlins did they say there were?
12 to 15, or 13 to 15.
I mean, that's... So there were 12 people there and 12 gremlins.
Yeah, they couldn't even be creative with the numbers.
No.
They're reflections in the window.
What I think has happened is that they wanted to, like, fire off some guns. This is what I initially thought. I thought the kids had, like, grabbed the shotgun, fired them, hit the window, for example, got a bit scared they were going to get in trouble, so came up with this incredible story.
Yeah.
And the parents have reported it on the single.
Yeah, but since then, local and national news coverage of the goblins has caused a wave of copycat
Is that the next urban legend, the copy rats?
copycat sightings in the area. A group of Evansville teenagers reported seeing 10 of the creatures in the athletic field at the high school, and the creatures, they said, locked off into the darkness when they started throwing rocks at them. Yeah, so that's...
They're easily scared.
The urban legend in Kentucky isn't... It's a true... All of that was a true story.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
No, like as in 1955, these people did go to the police and say this stuff, and they had a gun battle.
I think they were doing, like, they were trying to make themselves famous by coming up with a fucking elaborate story. Like Balloon Boy. We all remember Balloon Boy in America. Like, said that, do you remember him? Like, he went in the balloon, went up, and... I think it's that. I think it's just, let's get some press.
Yeah,
baby.
That story is actually now known as one of the big things in UFO sightings and stuff, so it's well known as like a massive...
Okay, recently the American Air Force released like videos of UFOs, but this is the one that are like,
it's just
what's going to happen to these damn aliens?
But apparently there's been loads of sightings around that area in Kentucky since, but it's all just sightings, no proof.
Now I'm a Japanese bollocks.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think it's a family of American losers really, that want a bit of clout, so they've gone to the police to say that.
There wasn't diss tracks to do back then.
No, exactly, exactly. Shit, bollocks.
Alright, pick better states for next episode.
I don't know. Okay. Alright, what's the
I've only got one more. It's quite a short one.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's again not really much of a story to it, but it's nicer. It's nicer than that one.
Okay.
No aliens involved.
Oh god, they were goblins actually, Kentucky goblins.
But they're essentially saying aliens because they said it was a UFO. Okay, so
All of the Kentucky aliens.
the final one I picked because you ran out of places and I said Hawaii. So if this is bad, it's my fault.
Let's just go back to Cropsey.
Cropsey!
What is Staten Island actually an island?
I don't know much about America.
I think so. It's in New Jersey, isn't it?
So it's not actually on the American mainland.
Well, I mean, like, New York is technically
An island, yeah.
Yeah,
You can only get
is an island.
Yeah, you can only get to New York via bridges. There's
Yeah.
only a couple of bridges or something to get on there.
Right.
So I assume Staten Island is an island.
That's the boroughs of New York.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, so Hawaii. This one's called Night Marches. On the nights of honouring the Hawaiian gods Kane, Ku, Lono, or on the nights of the Kanaloa, they are said to come forth from their burial sites or rise up from the ocean and to march in a large group to ancient Hawaiian battle sites or to other sacred places. According to the legend, the night marchers were ancient Hawaiian warriors. Today, their spirits are said to roam various areas on the islands, many of which were once great battlefields. They appear as ghostly apparitions who carry torches and play drums whilst they chant. These warriors are believed to be eternally fated to march the island seeking their next battle. They are most active at night, but also have been reported to be seen during the day. No structure deters their path, and as a result they're often seen walking right through buildings. If you come across the night marchers in a procession, it's advised to not interrupt them.
I wouldn't know.
It is also believed that you should never look at them directly or you might meet your doom from a single deadly glance. If seen, remain quiet with your eyes averted. Always show the warriors the respect that they deserve, and you will have a wonderful story to tell. It is believed that the descendants of the night marchers will not be harmed by them as they march to battle.
Oh, so if you're related to the night marchers, you're cool.
Yeah, so they're essentially saying that these were actual warriors of Hawaii who have died, and now they march through the land to go to find their next battle.
Don't worry about it. You're dead. Should have a good time. Go to.
They don't know that. They're ghosts.
I quite like this because I can. Probably this has been made up by people who are like descendants of them now, just as an idea that Gramps is still floating around. He does that walk once a year. So I think it doesn't happen. But it's the most harmless of all of the urban legends that we've had.
Yeah, there's a lot of places like that around the world where like spirits are such a big thing to them.
Yeah.
Like as you said with the Day of the Dead and stuff like that, it's like something they just believe, so it's probably a nice thing. But then it is a bit strange that they say, oh, it's really nice that there are descendants who did this, but they will kill you if you look at them.
Yeah. Just if you look at them.
Yeah, you can die from a glance from it. What you're meant to do is if you see them, if they look back at you and you're still looking, you'll die. But if you see them and they're not looking, they start to look, you just need to look away. There's loads of different versions of this where it says if you see them, you just need to lay on the floor and let them go past, because you'll be able to hear them because they've got drums. And then it says things like you should never buy a house where the front door and the back door are perfectly in line with each other, because they'll just go straight through your house.
Can't do corners. Can't do corners.
Well, what the fuck do I do now?
They don't need to worry about going past any specific road.
Very much as the clarifies then.
Can't they go round?
No, but they just move like the old home flies, it's safe.
Right.
Take the route they want to
Start in
take.
place A and end in place B.
Yeah, but you're just much safer if you don't live in a house like that.
So they can walk through walls, but they'd prefer it if both the doors are lined. Yeah? Just go through the wall then, mate. It's mental. I don't know who comes up with this.
Well, it's just the same as all urban legends. It is just a bit of a story. Obviously, things like Cropsey are quite rare with urban legends. Like Slender Man is obviously just a ridiculous piece of artwork that someone attached a story to.
I don't know how they get through 52 of these things.
Well, some of them might be a little bit better.
Only 50. Okay, cool. 50's fine. 52. I draw the line.
Some of them are like the Cropsey one is a good story.
Yeah.
But it's obviously a bit dark as well.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, we've definitely had better ones, I'll openly admit.
I like
Petrified Forest, I quite like.
I like that one. I like Cropsey. Obviously, I'm a fan of true crime. I don't like the fact that people died, obviously, but I like the in my head, the story of it was a lot spookier. So it was like a little thing called Cropsey, like going around an island. I didn't know it was on the mainland of America, just some thing. I thought it was like there'd be an island and everyone would be like, shit, it's on the island, and not know how to get off of the island.
Sounds like you're just thinking about Cloverfield.
Haven't watched it.
No, that's just in New York.
Is it?
And these little creatures come around, start just ripping people's shreds.
Cropsey, I see. Are you a fan of Pokemon, Max?
I am, nothing.
In my head, Cropsey's a bit like, do you know what I'm going to say?
Cypher.
I think you're going to say he's a grass-based Pokemon.
I was going to say he's like a sand splash.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but with a human's head.
That would be quite weird.
Maybe.
What? Oh, like as a baddie? I would have thought
Yeah.
Sandslash was quite a friendly Pokemon.
Yeah, but imagine him as if he's got a human's head and
Right.
he cuts up kids in there.
Yeah. I think now. No, actually, I tell you, if we're talking about Pokemon related to urban legends, the little Baton Rouge bloke, the red bloke.
Main Rouge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Snorlax now. He's retired. He's out of the game.
I think he's more of a Munchlax. If you
Yeah.
think of him like going around like a tiny little Munchlax. Yeah.
I'm glad this one's over, actually.
So this has been Urban Legends. I think what we do, it's custom to pick our favourite collectively.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Petrified Wood.
So would I, actually, strangely.
Crocs is mate.
Yeah, you would be doing him a disservice.
But I can't. Rand, though. Rand has to Andre.
Yeah,
Nom.
yeah, he's fucked it for you.
Do you know what? I quite like the Hawaii one because it's a nice reminder for the descendants of like a nice story. It's like,
Yeah.
you guys will be okay because Gramps has got your back.
Right, but he will murder you if you look into
If you
him.
do,
No, not if it's Gramps. You're related.
Oh,
Fine.
of course.
if it's
yeah.
Gramps, you're alright.
Yeah, but he'll murder your friends.
Yeah, and and also just helps architects be slightly more inventive with building. and things.
Very true, very true. So I'm gonna vote Wood. You're gonna vote.
I'll go Wood as well.
Yeah.
I'm going Aloha.
Okay. I think the Devil one was up there as well. Name Rouge.
I like the
Yeah.
festival, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go for that one then. Name Rouge.
We can all go to the festival. Okay. And then, as is also a custom now, we need to pick
Max can pick the next one.
5 new states. And I'll give you a rough idea. I'll tell you what the story from that place is called.
It's almost like a tag now, so we get someone different for every urban legend, so you can tag the next one.
Okay, I'm going to try and name just really niche Americans.
Oh, nice.
If you could also tell me the letters for that state, because sometimes
what it begins with.
no, because I thought Arizona was AR, but that turned out to be Arkansas. Don't worry, I think Fiona's going to tell us. That's
All right,
so name a place.
Up first, we've got Iowa.
Oh, I like
Iowa.
it.
Is that IA?
IOWA.
But I imagine the 2 letters are IA.
That could be Indiana, though, don't get mixed up.
Oh,
There's also an IN.
we should really know, but we don't. Fiona, Iowa is IA.
Okay, perfect. So, Iowa. Villisca Axe Murder House.
Oh, sounds spicy, that. Sounds spicy.
And I can also tell you now, based on real events.
Oh, sign me up. Thanks, Max.
Right, okay, so we've got Iowa. How many have I got to do?
4 more.
Yeah.
4 more. Okay, right. Let's go Maryland.
Maryland is...
ND.
Yeah.
Is it what is it what it starts with and what it finishes with? I think we can agree it's that, isn't it?
No, because there is no MD.
No, it's not that. Okay.
Only Chris MD.
Yeah.
Is it MA?
Who is his own urban legend, by the way. MD. Okay, MD.
So we've got Iowa, Maryland. I want you to do both the Dakotas, North and South. Get them over.
Are we, have you found the Maryland one yet?
MD, yeah, that is the Goat Man.
Which one is that? North Dakota.
That's
No,
Maryland.
that's Maryland.
Fucking
Murder
idiot.
House for Iowa, Goatman.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
South Dakota, I imagine that's just ND and SD.
Yeah.
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 So ND, I've got the Mini Washatu,
What?
and it's a river monster.
Oh, okay.
And then South Dakota,
That's some real shit.
You hate anything that isn't correct.
I hate Urban Legend.
Great. He says around 7 episodes in. This one I think you might like. It's called Walking Sam.
Right?
Sam Oaks. It looks a little bit like it could
Sam
be.
Crop.
It looks a little bit like it could be a Slender Man story.
Oh, okay. Sign me up. Sign me up. One more, Max, please.
Okay, we're going to go the final one, CT Connecticut.
CT Connecticut, and we have Annabelle.
Oh, maybe.
Annabelle, the well-known
As in
film.
the Annabelle.
Wow.
Yeah, that comes from a apparently true story.
We're really getting one poster boy per episode, I like. Cropsy was our poster boy of this one. Next week will be Annabelle.
Balzo.
I say next week. It won't be that frequently.
No, we need to
They
slow
bore
down
me.
a bit.
You right then, Stevie?
I was until you said it bores you.
Stevie, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Max, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Benson.
I mean, people know who you are, but where can they find you?
YouTube.com/MaxFox.
I really recommend it. Some brilliant stuff over there. Max, come back on again soon, please.
Thank you very much.
Always love seeing you. Stevie, thank you very much.
No, cheers.
This has been episode 5, I guess, maybe.
It was episode 2 of American Urban Legends.
There we go. This has been Jack Mate's Happy Hour. We'll see ya in a few days' time. Bye. Cropsy. Jack Mate's Happy Hour.
This was a Staccato production.
Free running is definitely something that I would have taken the piss out of back in the day, because I've done like I'll look at him jumping over a bench.
Yeah.
But like the way you've spoken of it already, I'm like, wow, this is so much more than I thought.
I think people don't realise how deep the whole community and the actual sport is. You're literally going out every single day and facing different challenges.
When you do this, you don't wear a harness or anything, do you?
No.
You climb the Sidemen Tower.
Yeah, the Simons are. I'm banned from Shard. It's called a high court injunction. I got an email from the head of security saying that we've seen you on CCTV, breach your injunction, we saw you filming the intro to your video to climb the Shard. We're taking court proceedings and we're going to take to prison and seize all your assets, basically.
Did you climb into an airport or something?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, you're being arrested for endangerment of an aircraft under the Aviation Act of 1985. So it was like, you're a fucking bad charge, basically.
Were you shitting yourself in this?
I was doing the worst experience of my life.
Have there been points where police officers have been like, that is cool?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm all fans. Literally,
I love your videos.
I'm sorry, I have to do this. One of my friends passed away. Fell off the building.
What a fucking idiot.
He lived every single day in the exact way that he wanted to, and nobody could tell him anything. He was a free spirit on a nice buzz like I've ever met in my life. And he just inspires me now to live exactly that way. If there's something you want to do, just start today, even if it's baby steps, little things, even if it's like the littlest step towards it, making a Facebook page for your business, making an Instagram, or like making a logo, anything, even if it's like an adventure you do, go on that hike, do that thing, because trust me, before you realise it, you'll be too old to not be able to do it.
I think that's one of my favourite happy hour moments I've ever had there. That's inspirational as fuck, mate.
I tripped walking down a curve this morning.
That's why you'd have to free run, mate. Jack Mate's Happy Hour. Hello guys and welcome back to Jack Mate's Happy Hour. You always try and put Stevie's mouth in along with that, trying to predict how I say it. Do I say it in the same tone every time?
Every single time. Welcome back to Jack Mate's Happy Hour.
Right, okay.
Every single time. There's always a pause.
It's suspense. It's
I don't know what it's called.
Today we are joined by, we've got a list here, because you've done so much stuff, YouTuber, filmmaker, free runner, photographer, and general life enthusiast.
You just literally read his Twitter bio.
No, it's my Twitter bio. I didn't say that before I came in. I told you. He asked me, so it's fine.
It's Nightscape. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good, yeah. Just happy to be here. And,
How did you get to the studio today? Did you run across like roofs and shit?
Nah, just standard drove in my car.
Uber.
On the way here, Jack genuinely kept looking up at roofs.
Do you know what, yeah, I feel like every
people feel like free running is a thing that you do like consistently. The amount of times I've heard people ask me like, "Do you free run? Could you free run there?" It's like if we say we go somewhere, they're like, "Can you just free run there?" I'm not a like long distance person, and especially free running as well. It's a very like impact the explosive things.
Right.
Most of the things you do is within like 30 seconds, not like a long distance.
Oh, so you know, I literally said to Fiona when we was driving into London last night, I was like, just have a look up, because you never quite know. Like, I imagine you're kind of like a Peter Parker type character. Can you not then? If you know went to Spoons for lunch, would you not just jump there?
No, one jump. Like, do you know what it is? It's like, well, if I'm doing the rooftop and stuff, so there's a difference between free running. Free running is like running, jumping over it, so it's like exercise, right? But then there's the rooftop and stuff, which is like sneaking into places, and then you get to the rooftop or a place where you're not really supposed to be, and then you chill there for a long time. So if you were going through London, and I was on like a massive rooftop, then you could potentially look up and see. I've been walking through London before and looked up and seen people I know was on rooftops.
No way!
Before, man.
It's like a Marvel comic.
Yeah, it is really.
Fucking hell. Well, before we hear all those crazy stories, we like to start much duller than that. We like to ask our guests what meal deal they get. I mean, we've worn this question into the ground, but I imagine yours is quite out there.
Do you know what? It's actually, I think it's pretty bog standard.
Is it?
It's like, elite wrap, Caesar chicken wrap.
Right,
In my
okay.
opinion, that's the elite one. Baker's cheese and onion crisps.
Oh, is that that's Walker's, isn't it?
Walker's baked, not Baker's.
Baked, yeah.
Walker's baked
Yeah.
cheese and onion crisps. And, it sounds shit, but just like a bottle of water.
No, that's alright.
That is a bog standard meal deal.
Pretty bold, I know.
But I think that the Walker's is good. I've really been getting into them baked ones recently.
They're elite, man.
Yeah.
I think they're better than the normal ones because I don't know, the normal ones are just a bit oily and
Yeah.
you feel healthier.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah, I think they brand them as healthier, but I'm not sure how they
I don't know
is.
if they are.
No, and then Fiona will come in with like vegetable, like beetroot crisps, and I'll be like, okay, that's how you do the healthy versions. It's mad.
It's like, you know, the dried banana ones.
Yeah.
Like proper healthy.
Not for me, not for me. So you're not, well, obviously you just pick the chicken thing, you're not vegan or a veggie or anything like that.
Do you know, I was veggie for 5 years.
Was you?
Yeah, I was a vegetarian for 5 years.
Wow.
When did you stop caring about animals?
Do you know what it is, yeah? It was around the time when I was going to fight Ali for fame MMA.
Right.
And I was veggie for 5 years, and I think like because of all my I'm always focused on videos and YouTube and all that kind of stuff and editing and all that kind of stuff. I really have never had enough time to like focus on my diet.
Right.
And even though I was vegetarian, I feel like when you're vegetarian, you have to supplement it with other things, other like more protein and other different things to have a healthy lifestyle. Because honestly, a lot of like vegetarian meals, just like carbs. Like potatoes and bread and vegetables, and it's like before that fight I was really skinny, I was like really not malnourished, but like I wasn't ill or anything like that. I don't know, I remember I was sitting in my office and I was like, okay, I'm really craving salmon.
Oh wow.
For like, I don't even know why, for no reason. I was like, okay, I've got this fight soon, I know that I need to bulk up, I need to train, because like literally a week after that I started training for like 3 months every single day, and I know my diet had to be on point and I wanted to get bigger, so I was like, I'm just going to try some salmon. Went to Tesco, made some salmon. That first bite was like the maddest feeling ever.
What did it taste like? Was it proper salty?
It was weird. It was like, nah, it wasn't salty.
No.
Just like, I don't
It's just so, what are you laughing?
You're just asking him what salmon tastes
Yeah,
like.
I want to know what it's like when you haven't had it for ages.
It's weird. It was weird. It was a weird thing. And I FaceTimed my girlfriend as I did it.
Crying.
I was like, yeah.
Emotional.
No, it was weird getting back into it. But, yeah, I don't know, like, for me, I respect everything about vegetarianism and veganism. I do. But at the same time, it's my dietary choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course.
I'm never going to judge someone else for what they want to eat. It's
Yeah.
like, if you eat that, that's fine. Even when I was vegetarian, I'd like, all my friends would eat eaters, they're all carnivores. I was like, yeah, look, we go to Nando's, I'd have a veggie wrap, they'd have chicken, I wouldn't ever
Yeah.
judge them for that because like that's their decision.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I see the perspective of vegans and vegetarians saying like animals, feelings, and all that kind of stuff. I understand, but
It's fair enough.
it's what I needed to do at the time.
Yeah.
I just kept it consistent.
You said that you were going to fight Ali. Is that Anderson Gibb?
No, Ali Law.
Oh, right. Oh, of course. Right. That's who we were going to have him on, weren't we? Who do you think would have won that?
Yaudua.
So we've spoken about Fame on here quite a lot because it was a bit of a shit show.
Yeah.
What was the experience like for you?
Oh, it was a shit show. 100%, yeah.
Because you actually did all the press conferences and that, didn't you?
Honestly, one of the biggest regrets, I think, doing that.
What was that?
In my internet career...
You got to meet Charles.
The dream.
The whole thing was a piss day, man.
What was that?
Just like... can I say that?
Yeah. Mate, this is good to chat. Of course you can.
Oh, it's good to know he's never listened.
I watched the clip. Right, I couldn't remember. But yeah, man, like, that whole thing, it was just the way that they scouted the people for it. It was literally like they only looked at their numbers rather than engagement. And I feel like when you're doing influencer campaigns, the most important thing is engagement.
Yeah.
You can have someone who's got a quarter of the amount of followers, but if they've got double engagement, you're going to be way more successful. So it's like they had those like Instagram people who had millions of followers, and then their photos would get like 4K likes.
Yeah.
How do you expect to sell 4,000 tickets per person when they don't even get 5K likes?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say. Like,
No, it makes sense. 100% makes sense. But you probably get more. Stevie probably gets more likes now than Casper Lee, and that's not me trying to mug off Casper Lee, but he, like, he,
how many followers.
Casper Lee had his time. Do you know what I mean? Yours will come. But no, you bang on with the whole engagement and stuff. But why didn't you fight?
So it was 2 weeks before the fight. I've been training every single day for 3 months, going hard every day. Well, not every single day, six days a week. Muay Thai, MMA. Boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I was doing all those classes every single day, or most days. Eating like the best I could possibly eat, waking up, training, hour running every day.
Wow.
Trying to get like an athlete, yeah. Even when I was running, I'd be watching MMA fights.
What?
I'd be running on the treadmill for an hour, and during that time, I'd be watching MMA fights just to learn everything I could. So you only got 3 months to become like an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And then, 2 weeks before, I dislocated my shoulder. Yeah, and I had to pull out, man.
How'd you do it?
How did I do it? God, it's hard to remember. Actually, I've done it 7 times now.
Have you?
Yeah, it's a recurring one.
Shit.
I don't actually remember.
Do you strangely feel like you're glad that ended up happening with what happened with Faye?
Yeah, I have said this. Like, I kind of feel like I dodged a bullet. But then again, it was like so much training to not actually go through with it.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing. And then I got all the backlash from Ali's fans saying like, oh, you're a pussy. Basically, everyone said that I faked it. And I had the video of my mate putting it back in.
Oh my God.
I had to post that on Twitter because Ali made a whole massive thing saying that I'm too scared to fight him. And I pulled out. And it's just like, I've just lied about the whole thing. And then,
did you have beef with him then, or was it just fine?
well, we do very similar things. So we always had like, we've never had any competition really. But I guess like with other podcasts, it's like, there's always that sort of like voice in your head.
I'm like one bad day from knocking True Geordie out. Do you know?
I wouldn't say that.
Nah, like Lawrence would get slapped.
I'm biased. I'm not biased in that. But yeah, like, it was a weird one. And then, Ali, so this is the thing about Fame, that whole thing, one of the main reasons I regret it is because it was just so fake. That whole thing was like purely, like, constructed to be what it was. So I didn't really have any beef with Ali whatsoever. We were friends, we've done loads of videos together, we were absolutely fine. And then the producers would literally say like, look, you've got to do this and this and this at the press conferences. And then you're like, okay, if I don't do that, am I going to be breaching a contract? Am I not going to get paid? All this kind of stuff. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So then you just make some fake beef.
Right.
It didn't really exist like at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I don't know. I like to be like real as I possibly can. So I put myself in that situation. So I take responsibility, but I would never do something like that.
Really?
It was just a bad experience, man.
Unless you had like real beef with someone and you get
If it was real beef,
yeah,
for sure, I'd be down.
Yeah. And you can do real beef now because you're not a veggie anymore. So.
Yeah.
Stevie, sorry. I've let myself down. I've let my family down. Fiona's out there listening. I've let her down. All right.
She's putting that in your bad compilation.
The thing is, if you start with a terrible joke, it's all uphill from here. Do you know what I mean?
I guarantee you can do worse.
Yeah, I can't do any better.
You can't do worse.
So we listed off all the stuff that you do. You do loads of stuff, right?
Yeah.
What is it? What's your day today? What's your job?
Well, basically, I don't know if you know, but my channel is at the moment completely blacklisted from monetization, which happened about a year ago.
Right.
So recently, I've taken a step back from YouTube just to basically sort that whole thing out, which is currently in the process. I don't want to say much about it because it's all like the whole thing. But before I took the step back, it was literally every single day just YouTube videos and yeah, full-time YouTube, photography, traveling, exploration, and generally just like enjoying my life whilst I'm alive. You know what I mean? Like, making the most of it every single day.
When you say blacklisted, what do you mean? So when you upload a video, do you not even get the option to monetize it?
No, it's literally like as soon as I upload, it goes straight to limited or no ads, no matter what.
Can you not appeal it?
No, I don't know the option to appeal it. And I'll show you this. So I did a test the other day.
That's what that video was.
Yeah. So I did a test. I loaded a black screen for 6 seconds. It was monetized. The first time I've ever seen a green monetization for literally like 5 minutes, and then it went.
Did it?
Limit ads, and it said limit ads by human review. And every single time it says it's by human review. When I know, like I've been told by YouTube that it's blacklisted.
So there's someone actually sitting there going, not this guy.
It's not even that though. It's not even that. It's literally just like default, automatically.
I think my channel was close to going that way, but recently I've been getting hit. Like basically, like I fucked it because I uploaded an anime sex game. We're playing it with Fiona purely like I've said it before on the podcast, purely just for the money, right?
Yeah.
And since then, every single video got demonetized instantly, and now they still do, but I can appeal them, and they're starting to go green recently.
Captain current front is 18.4 seconds.
So cold, I think I'm done with ice. If I leave her, she gon' die. But bitch, you done with life. Okay, then I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. Say you got that sack, I got that sack, but ain't no ones of mine. Nope, my little bitch say I'm getting too cool. I don't even like dubs of mine. Alright, I look like without them 20. Them hoes like how I'm coming. Yeah, I look like with all this money. I look having all these hoes. When I crack a smile white gold. Yeah, I'm talking diamonds, gold. Came from the bottom, toes. Yeah, back in, baby. That way they pay me a show. See, I listen to my rap by the time she drop, they gon' pay me some more. I still can go back to the tracks and if I pick it up, make a play at the stove, and it still hurts when I say it. Mars so cold, I think I'm done with ice. If I leave her, she gon' die, but bitch, you done with life. Okay, when I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. Say you got that sack, I got that sack, but ain't no ones of mine. My little bitch say I'm getting too boo, I don't even like dubs of mine.
Nope, too hot, dope. You know I wanted to go. She let me put it in the back of the throat. Walk in the bank with it, and in the truth. I'm trying to make it the pipe. Then I'm trying to play with the money. Try to go take out your body. I wish you wanted to take it and buy it. I had to run for a year on drive. I get away from about to try. Yeah, all this shit I ain't lying. I got a backing for 125. I bought a paddock for 185. This shit getting easy.
Mars so cold, I think I'm done with ice. If I leave her, she gon' die. But bitch, you done with life. Okay, then I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. Say you got that sack, I got that sack, but ain't no ones of mine. Nope, my little bitch say I'm getting too boo, I don't even like dubs of mine.
All is don't even balance her. Well, I kind of
bands. Ain't no rubber band around at all. I used to be down, waiting on taxi time. Fucked up. Look at me now. They bring me the flex and shine. I'm up, let's get it. Bitch, you feel like an 18-inch sub. Yeah, I'm 100, you a dub. Nothing. Looking for me, I'm booked up. Where you at? You can see I'm in the club. Diamonds on my earlobe, ice on dice. 150 on studs. Rug rat, young nigga got it out the mud.
My heart's so cold, I think I'm done with all birds. If I leave her, she gon' die. But bitch, you done with life. Okay, then I pull up with no knife, cause I bring guns to fight. Say you got that sack, I got that sack, but ain't no ones of mine. My little bitch say I'm getting too booed. I don't even like dubs of mine. But I look like without them 20. But them hoes like how I'm coming. Yeah, I look like without this money. I look having all these hoes. When I crack the smile white gold. Yeah, I'm talking diamonds, gold. Came from the bottom, told.
Yeah.
Have you ever loved someone so much you giving on for? Not the expression, no, literally giving on for. When they know they're your heart and you know you are their armor, and you will destroy anyone who would try to harm them. But what happens when karma turns right around to bite you, and everything you stand for turns on you to spite you? What happens when you become the main source of a pain? Daddy, look what I made. Dad's gotta go catch a plane. Daddy, where's mommy? I can't find mommy. Where is she? I don't know. Go play. Hey, me, baby, your daddy's busy. Daddy's writing the song ain't gonna write itself. I give you one underdog, and you gotta swing by yourself. Then turn right around in that song and tell her you love her. Then put hands on her mother, who's a spitting image of her. That's Slim Shady. Yeah, baby, Slim Shady's crazy. Shady made me, but tonight Shady's rockin' my baby. When I'm gone, just carry on, don't more rejoice. Every time you hear the sound of my voice, just know that I'm looking down, you smiling, and now that you feel the pain. So baby, don't feel the pain, just smile back. When I'm gone, just carry on, don't more rejoice. Every time you hear the sound of my voice, just know that I'm looking down, you smiling, and now that you feel the pain. So baby, don't feel the pain, just smile back. I keep having this dream, I'm pushing Haley on the swing. She keeps screaming, she don't want me to sing. You're making mommy cry. Why is mommy crying? Baby daddy ain't leaving no more. Daddy, you're lying. You always say that. You always say this is the last time. But you ain't leaving no more. Daddy, you're mine. She's piling boxes in front of the door, trying to block it. Daddy, please, daddy, don't leave. Daddy, no, stop it. Goes in the pocket, pulls out a tiny necklace locket. It's got a picture. This'll keep you safe, daddy. Take it with you. I look up, it's just me standing in the mirror. These fucking walls must be talking, cause man, I can hear them. They're saying you got one more chance to do right, and it's too late. Now go out there and show them that you love them, for it's too late. And just as I go to walk out of my bedroom door, return to the stage, they're gone, and the spotlight is on, and I'm singing, when I'm gone, just carry on, don't more rejoice. Every time you hear the sound of my voice, just know that I'm looking down, you're smiling, and now that you feel the pain, so baby, don't feel the pain, just smile back. When I'm gone, just carry on, don't more rejoice. Every time you hear the sound of my voice, just know that I'm looking down, you're smiling, and now that you feel the pain, so baby, don't feel the pain, just smile back. 60,000 people all jumping out their seat. The curtain closes, they're throwing roses at my feet. I take a bow and thank you all for coming out. They're screaming so loud, I take one last look at the crowd. I glance down, I don't believe what I'm seeing. Daddy, it's me. Help, mommy, your wrists are bleeding. But baby, boy, it's Sweden. How did you get to Sweden? I followed you, daddy. You told me that you were leaving. You lied to me, daddy. And now you make mommy sad. And I bought you this coin. It says #1 dad. That's all I wanted. I just wanna give you this
Let's go, Chris. Let's fucking go. Woo! God damn! God damn! God damn! Damn! God damn! Damn! God damn! This mic is pretty good, actually. This mic is pretty good, actually. Let me just show my 5-second penalty. Let me just show. There it is. My 5-second penalty. There it is. Nope, not that one. My 5-second penalty. There it is. Lap 16. Pit stop. Lap 2, 6, and 10. Lap 16. Pit stop. Did not serve it in the pits. Thank you very much. Pit stop. Did not serve it in the pits. Thank you very much.